It's always the last hive that I work. I mean, I know that, oh, don't work that hive first. It's over. All right, when I take the green chair, it's serious. It's like captain's chair. It means I have some questions I got to answer. Yeah, when I take this chair, it means that I got to make a video. That's really, I'm going to address that. So this is going to be good. Hey, everybody, David Burns, good to be with you. I do love sitting out in the green chair under some nice shade trees at our property. And good opportunity. I just got done working about 20 plus hives, and I mean working. I didn't do mite tests, but I went through frame by frame, and some of them have 30, maybe I think one has 40 frames in it, you know, for like 4 boxes. And I went through all of them and inspected like a bee inspector would, looking for any kind of problems, how much resources they have, brood, eggs, larvae, all that, you know, quality of the queen. I also found 2 of them that were queenless. I mean, hopelessly queenless. If that's a word you're not familiar with, hopelessly queenless means no way they're going to make a queen. No eggs in there, they're just queenless. So I was able to put some queens in there, get those kind of going. And I was particularly looking for any kind of brood diseases like American foul brood, European foul brood, just making sure it all looked good there. That's something we all should always be mindful of, checking out the brood diseases. And I was on the lookout for a small hive beetle because, you know, this bee yard, by the way, I'm going to answer some really important questions coming up. But this bee yard that I moved down there is in the shade. Last year I battled a small hive beetle. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. I'll be right back. That's a long reach. All right, I knocked on the wood wall. Beetles were not bad at all today. I kept track of how many beetles I saw. Now there may be more, but the ones that I saw and killed out of like 20 plus hives, 5 beetles. It's like, wow, they were beautiful. The colonies are doing so well. The brood looks good. I'm going to make some videos in a few days down there, and you're going to love it. So I had a good time. And I was proud of my back and my strength. Some of those boxes were just terribly heavy, and feeling pretty strong actually. I'm thankful that I'm feeling good and feeling strong. I'm 64 years old, and I've kind of worked hard all my life, stayed active all my life. I was raised by a dad that taught me how to work hard and be a hard worker. And I do enjoy staying busy. My kids, you know, my boys especially, grown boys, will say, man, Dad, you're always doing something. You're always busy working. Don't you just like to sit down and rest sometimes? Don't you just want to go see a movie and chill? I kind of like that sometimes, but, you know, I guess I am. My dad did raise me, good or bad. It may not be good, but my dad did raise me to be a hard worker and stay busy, stay active. And I do enjoy that. It's therapeutic for me. So I want to answer some questions that I saw on my YouTube channel, and I thought it'd be a good time to just pop in here and answer some. By the way, I made a video a couple of days ago, maybe yesterday, but it's getting a lot of views, and I want you to drop by and look at it if you haven't looked at it already. In fact, I'm going to leave a description in the link of this video, and I'll also refer to the video that I just made at the end of this video, but I want you to watch it. It's a good one for really understanding. A lot of you might be wrestling with your bees, and as particularly the queens, and that's what that video was that I made, is about. We need to check on the queen again. Do we have a mated queen, or is she still a virgin queen? That's really important. By the way, I see squirrels running around here, and we've had squirrels ever since we've moved here 20 years ago. But Sherry has been babying my squirrels, or her squirrels now. They had a family, they had little squirrels, and get this, these squirrels have bright white tails. Now here in where I live, they're red-tailed squirrels, big squirrels, red-tailed squirrels. But this mama squirrel had 2 or 3 white-tailed squirrels. And they're beautiful. I mean, bright white tails. And One of them has died, but they're still running around the trees. Well, Sherry has been feeding them, trying to get them more tamed. And I see one up in the tree there, but you might see one walk by me. They're getting really tamed. She's feeding them nuts and stuff. And we don't want a dog. We've had dogs before, but then when I have to speak somewhere and we have to be gone or something, we have to find people to take care of the dogs. So squirrels, they tend to themselves. All right, somebody asked me this question. What do you mean by swarm cells? Let me give you all the questions I'm going to answer, because you might want to know. What hat and veil is that? I'm going to tell you what hat and veil I use. Do you always run 2 deeps? How do you know when to add a deep and when to add a honey super? What is a green drone comb? What type of feeder board? Where did you purchase it? And another question or comment was, David, what race of bees are you raising in the video? Yeah, so let me talk about that. Let's talk about the hat and the veil first. This is a hat and the veil that you'll see me wear a lot in some of my videos. Now, I bought this hat and veil. Believe it or not, I think I bought it back when it was only like, I think I bought it for $6. But that was a long time ago. It has held up pretty good. These things have kind of gotten stretched out, and I actually cut a piece of plastic and cut my screen. I made a video on how to do this. Yes, I'm aware that you can buy them already made to kind of cut and screw together, but I wanted to make a video on how to do it yourself. So, you know, it's hard sometimes seeing queen eggs when you're looking through the mesh black material. And so I wanted to have a clear material that I could look through, and it has worked really well. This one is a little bit high. I make it work, but I should have put it a little bit lower. But I have a video if you want to go back in my videos and watch how I made this. And I actually use silicone, and it's set in there perfectly. Wow, it's amazing. So anyway, I'll leave a link in the description below where you can buy these hats. They're $20 now on Amazon, and I find them to be quite nice. Now, the strap inside that goes under your chin broke, made of cheap material. These aren't something that are really made to last forever, I don't think, but they're just, they get the job done, okay? So that's my hat that I wear, and I do enjoy it. The other thing, somebody said, what is a green drawn comb? And I think they misunderstood what I was saying. I'm a little sloppy when I talk. I don't pronunciate my words as carefully as I should, especially if I get tired or something. I don't know if you're that way, but I need to work on pronunciating words more accurately. But anyway, I actually said green drone comb. Drone is the male honeybee. I've made 2 or 3 videos about the green drone comb. I'll leave a link in the description below on how you use these to trap the varroa destructor mite, so you don't have to use chemicals and treatments in your hive. You can use this as just a mechanical way to trap mites, because mites prefer young drones or developing drones. And so you put this in there, the queen lays unfertilized eggs in it, and then before they hatch, the mites jump in there on the pupae, and before the pupae emerge, you take it out and freeze it, kill all the mites, and put it back in. So it's a great way that I've recommended. One of the methods of treating mites or caring for mites, more like killing mites, I've recommended it for years. So that's a good thing to know. Now, before I get into my next question, let me remind you guys to please subscribe to my channel. We've made it past 144,000 subscribers, which is amazing. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. That means a lot to me. We'll make 150 hopefully by the end of this year. So that tickles me, really does. So I appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything. Just a way, if you click on the bell, you'll be notified each time I make a new video, which I'm about to do back here in this hive where I painted it red. The comb, I didn't really paint it, but I put red wax down, doing an experiment. You want to know when that video is going to come out, you got to subscribe so you'll be notified each time I make a video like that. So let's get back and answer more questions. Another comment was, what type of feeder board is that? What do you use? Thanks. The feeder board is something I actually created. I invented, and I made this a long time ago out of a desperation of like, how do I feed my bees from the top? Because I wasn't having. I used to manufacture. We used to make reservoir top feeders, and I didn't like those. And it used to be that people used entrance feeders pretty heavily in the spring to feed their bees. I didn't really like that. When it got really cold, bees just wouldn't go down there and eat out of them. So I wanted something at the top. So I created this that fits on the top box that you have on your hive, whatever that top box is. And it comes with the jar lids with holes in them. This is made if you want to push a pollen patty through there. And you know, I don't like the word queen extruder. You've heard me say, don't say queen extruder. It's not called a queen extruder. It's called a queen excluder. You exclude the queen from going up into your supers. But this actually is an extruder. When you push your pollen patty through this 1/8 inch hardware mesh cloth, it does extrude the pollen patty and make it, I think, more edible for the bees if pollen patties is your thing. I prefer to feed protein pollen powder, protein powder in the sugar water through my jars that I put on top of this. So you see this in a lot of my videos. We do sell a ton of these, and I'll leave a link in the description if you want one. It's good for putting on a package or a brand new nucleus that you're still drawing out comb on. The foundation is needing to be drawn out. Feeding them will help the bees draw the foundation out. So if you can feed them to get more frames drawn out, it's going to help you a lot. So that's what, to answer that question, these are the feeder boards that I make and that we sell. And there's a bee visiting me. Probably left over from the field down there, still mad at me. David, what race of honeybees are you raising in this video? I have always raised my own particular bees that I like. I choose a hive every year or two that is stellar, meets all the qualifications. And I have many hives now because I raise my own queens. I have many hives that I love. I've got one hive down there. Boy, talk about a mean hive. Aggressive, defensive, just outright mean. I'm telling you what, I'll have to work it with you one day so you can see. And I don't like it. If it wasn't so mean, I'd requeen it, but I can't hardly get in there. I've got to put a whole suit on. I mean, I'm probably gonna have to put a suit. I mean, pants, one piece, big old suit on, and duct tape everything, and go get that queen out of there, because that queen is not something I like anymore. But anyway, it's an outstanding hive, as most terribly defensive and aggressive hives are. It's just so good. It makes so much honey. You can't kill it. I think you could pour gas on it and burn it and come out alive. I mean, it won't die. It's just an awesome hive. I would raise queens from that hive if it wasn't so defensive. I mean, you pop the top off and they're on you, no matter how much smoke you use. They get worse too. You keep it open for, in 15 minutes, you've got to get out of there. It's just unmanageable. So I don't know, I'm keeping it. It's always the last hive that I work. I mean, I know that, oh, don't work that hive first. It's over. The whole yard lights up. They go around and get all the other hives mad at me. So that's the last hive that I'll work, and they'll behave. They won't bother me. I mean, I can work all my other very gentle colonies, but when I go to that hive and open it up, that's the last hive I work, get her done, get out of the yard, come back here. Wow. They're not Africanized or anything like that. They don't follow you far, but they're just right there on you. You know, it's terrible. So I raise bees from the hives that I like, that are gentle, they overwinter well. I don't have to treat them for mites. They control mites or keep mite levels really low on their own. They're not very aggressive or defensive, and they make a lot of honey for me. If they meet qualifications like that, I'll raise queens from them. And so that's what I'm stuck on. Usually every year I'll kind of mix it up a little bit. This year I've got a hive that has done so well, I think about 3 or 4 years now. And I like the queen that has been with that one the last year or two. So I'm raising queens from her, and I really love that. So a lot of times people talk about, you know, you got all these new kind of queens that people say, or I'm not going to mention any names, but you know, they have names to them, and people say, oh, I want to try that one because it's supposed to be more mite resistant and all that. Just pick you a good queen that does the job, and learn how to raise queens. I've got a queen rearing class where I teach you guys online how to raise your own queens. Do what I do. Go out there, find a hive that's done really good. Look, people, this isn't hard. Come on. This is simple. I know there's so much stuff on YouTube. There's so much stuff on Facebook groups. There's so many businesses selling queens and all. Look, let's simplify it. Come on. Can we just be simple? Find you a good hive that's doing great in your yard, or, you know, and then raise queens from her. That's what I do, and it's worked out great. I'm not going to raise any queens out of a hive that doesn't make it through winter. Number one, you can't because they're dead. But you get my point? A hive makes it through winter, got a lot of good qualities. Hey, raise queens from that hive. Something's going on good there, people. It's so simple. Why do we complicate things? Anyway, that's a long answer to Dave, what race of bees are you raising in this video? All right. What do you mean by swarm cells? Yeah, not everybody knows that. Most beekeepers know what a swarm cell is, but swarm cells are created in a hive when a hive wants to reproduce, make another colony of bees. And so a colony has to reproduce, and they usually do it every year. A strong colony will. And so if you have a hive that's doing really good, they overwintered well, they will likely swarm in the spring. That's how they reproduce and make another colony. About half of the colony will leave with the old original queen in the parent colony, and they will fly away to a new home. Your other half that stays at home in the spring raises a queen. Now they'll raise swarm cells, and those are the new queens that will fight it out until one is left, and that one queen will be the new queen in the original colony. Now why don't they swarm with a virgin queen? Because the virgin queen, number one, is not mated, so that's risky. And number two, she doesn't have a proven genetic or laying pattern. She's not been proven. So when they leave with the older queen, she's proven, they know her genetics, they know what she's producing, her offspring, and so they want to leave with her. Now I've seen this time and time again, that after a hive swarms with the old queen, it's very likely that they'll off with her head as soon as they get established in a new home and she lays some brood. They seem to want to replace her. They seem to know that it's time for a new queen. But that is what's meant by a swarm cell. They're usually located anywhere from the middle down. They're on the lower part to the bottom of the frames, and there's always multiple numbers of swarm cells. They just raise a whole bunch for insurance, I guess. And that's what it's meant by a swarm cell. All right, another question is, do you always run 2 deeps? How do you know when to add a deep and when to add a honey super? Now this is simple again. I love to simplify things. You talk about, man, I guess that's because I'm simple. I love to simplify things. There goes that white-tailed squirrel over there. They're looking for Sherry to throw some more nuts out there. They're just standing by the back door. Yeah. No, I like to simplify things, so here's how to simplify it. Everybody wants to complicate when to add another box. Simply put, you want to add another box when about 5 or 7 frames in a box has been drawn out, it has bees on it, and it has whatever that comb would receive. Like it may have nectar, honey, may have brood on it, may have different things on it like that. But once they're drawn out and they contain what would be on that frame, brood or resources, 5 to 7, it's time to add another deep box. Now, if you're running 2 deeps and you want to add a super, I usually do the same thing. When about 5 to 7 frames on my second deep is drawn out with bees and resources or brood or whatever, when it's got that on there, you can slap a queen excluder there and put a honey super on. So you don't want them to get too far more than 7 in a box, because then they can get crowded in a swarm if you're not staying right on top of it. Now, here's another question related to that. A lot of you say, I can't get my comb drawn out in my super above a queen excluder. And it is hard, because bees don't like to go up through that queen excluder and work that super. It's like a desert to them. And so what I like to do is add more wax to your honey super foundation, if it's plastic, and then I like to leave the queen excluder off at least for however many days until they start drawing that out. Keep an eye on it, otherwise the queen's going to lay up there. She likes to lay in fresh comb like that, but keep an eye on it, and if you see that the queen is, they've drawn it out and the queen may lay up there, it's time to put the queen excluder there. But a lot of beekeepers make that mistake, putting the queen excluder down, and that comb just gets ignored. Bees won't go up there. I'm looking forward to having a live audience for a future live stream on June the 6th. Now, I don't know if anybody's interested in that, getting a ticket to be, I've only got enough room for 20 people. I don't know, maybe nobody's interested, but I thought I'd try it out and see if you'd be interested in doing it. Come and be a part. It's a meet and greet, spend time with me out here on the bee farm, and you'll be able to be a part of the live stream that night, and then a meet and greet with refreshments afterwards. We've got some special giveaways for those of you that are coming to do that would purchase a ticket for that event. And it's coming up. I know it's kind of inconvenient on a Thursday night to drop by unless you're in the area, but keep that in mind. I'll leave a link right here if you want to be a part of the live audience. We're kind of testing this out, see if that's something you guys would be interested in. All right, I made a video on whether or not this queen has taken a mating flight. Is she still a virgin queen, or is she mated? And to give you a little tip, the best way to tell if a queen has been mated is eggs. She lays eggs. But watch this video. I'll see you guys over there.